Hello there. I am Jeremy Gutierrez, and for my final project report, we'll be doing the effect of poverty on housing affordability. Introduction. For the overview, it's the county's proportion of Black residents, and I'm interested in this because I want to know if ethnicity has an impact on housing costs. The hypothesis development is basically the question is, are there any correlations between the county level housing costs and the number of Black people? The county level median home costs have no impact on the average Black population, according to the null hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis, on the other hand, states that the median house costs at the entry level are impacted by the average Black population. Empirical framework. The data description, the American Community Services, otherwise known as the ACS, carried out by the U.S. Census Bureau in 2017 and as a data source for the study. So it was in 2017. The development variable of concern is home affordability, which is determined by dividing median household income by median household value or median housing value. Home affordability rates to a number of explanatory factors, including poverty rates, educational attainment, racial demography, language use, and marital status. So according to the first few rows of data, listed above, home affordability variable measurements variable measures the difference between median housing unit value and median household income. Analyzing the data reveals that the home affordability values differ between observations. Similar variations may be seen in the numbers for below poverty, demonstrating that poverty rates vary by area. Descriptive results. The typical median cost of a home in the U.S. is $140,468. A 84,257 standard deviation exists, and the lowest is 18,700, and the maximum is $995,900, which is almost 1 million. So right here are all the histograms, the housing prices, which are the dependent variable, which are the dependent variables peak at the same time as a response variable. This suggests a concern between the housing costs and poverty, as you can see above. So this is the histogram after log transformation. After the log transformation, the explanatory variable still peaks at the graph's beginning, while the development variable, housing prices, peaks in the middle of the graph. This suggests that the data in the question do not follow the normal distribution. This is the correlation plot, which several variables here appear to be multi-collinear, and the factors would be speaking Spanish and being Latino, speaking English and being Latino, being married and having a bachelor's degree, and speaking Spanish and English. Map results. So here's the map of the US, and you can see the color, the shade of red represents the house price income ratio. California, Arizona, Utah, and Nevada have a strong correlation between home prices and income levels. You can see people moving north and east causes the link to become less strong. Housing costs are correlated with income regardless of whether a person is living in poverty. Regression model results. So right here is the chart. for effect of local poverty on housing affordability. And then right here on the next slide, we'll be talking about the summary of the main findings for this right here. So first bullet point was the size of the coefficient on the primary explanatory variable reflects the relationship strength with the dependent variable. A higher coefficient shows a greater relationship between the explanatory and dependent variables. The second bullet is when the explanatory variable is increased by 10%, the coefficient in column 4 shows the expected change in development, the dependent variable. If there is a positive correlation, this suggests that a 10% rise in the explanatory variable causes a positive percentage, increasing the dependent variable. And for the last bullet point, a statistical metric known as R squared quantifies the percentage of variance in the dependent variable. It has a value between 0 and 1, with a greater value indicating a better fit between the model and the data. For instance, an R2 of 0.75 indicates that the independent variables can account for 75% of the variation in the dependent variable. And for the conclusion, the summary of the findings and policy implications, the results of this data set demonstrate that there is a connection between housing costs and poverty levels. Housing prices fall when the poverty level rises. This might be because foreclosures make it harder to sell land in a city's communities. Depending on where a person lives, there also appears to be a strong association between the price of a home and their income. Studying the relationship between income and housing costs is significant because it can aid city planners in better positioning tech companies, which will raise income as well as assist lower income districts. And that'll be all.